probably should have left a comment. I'm just gonna do this video real quick. I noticed when I was checking for Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, um, what was I going to say? I'm happy that first of all, I'm happy that it's 60 and not 70. Don't know why it's not 70. Um, but I was going to say I noticed that I mean, well back then it was called Neo Geo, but SNK Playmore. I don't know if they're the ones that own that, but they have like King of Fighters 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. You know what I'm saying? But like they're sold separately. You know what I'm saying? I know that they've done other collections. I know that they've done like 2001, 2002. I think it was like 2002 and 2003 bundled together. If I'm not mistaken, I think maybe they even did a 2001. So I never. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm the biggest King of Fighters enthusiast. I do like some of the older King of Fighters games. Um, not nearly as much as I like Street Fighter. Even though I do think I just feel like the character designs for Street Fighter are way more iconic and memorable than King of Fighters. But I do love some of the King of Fighters designs for the characters. Like Yori is real dope. Um, but I'm a little disappointed that they're trying to charge separately for each one of those games. I think, realistically, it should be like King of Fighters 94 all the way till, whichever, I think they should bundle all of them until King of Fighters 12. I'm disappointed that King of Fighters 12 is not even available for download anymore. I thought King of Fighters 12 was actually better than King of Fighters 13, even though I thought I there's no doubt about it. I still think King of Fighters 12 is way better, but uh and like Fatal Fury, like that they don't even have collections for that. Like I'm saying, I've probably played those games like a handful of times. I'm sure they're good. Uh SNK and Capcom have always made amazing character designs and hilarious sound effects to go with it. I love the voice acting. The voice actors that they get are hilarious. Some I like obviously better than others. Um, my favorite probably being the fat bald guy with the ball and chain. Um, uh, he's and he has that little Freddy Krueger looking guy that like kind of fights alongside him for whatever reason. King of Fighters has that little Freddy Krueger guy. I always refer to him as the little Freddy Krueger guy. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Um, but when he gets knocked out in Capcom vs SNK 2, he makes the funniest sound effect. I love the voice actors and actresses that I don't know if they're I don't know if they hire them here or over there in Japan, but they're doing an amazing job with the voice acting and the sound effects. A lot of them are real funny, like especially when they get knocked out. I wish they would just keep the amazing ones, the same thing. I wish Mortal Kombat would allow players to like, if they wanted to, they could purchase like the DLC sound pack from the original arcade games, and like obviously not all the characters were around back then, but I wish you could do a one-time purchase of it and have it activate for any future Mortal Kombat game or any past Mortal Kombat game, like Mortal Kombat 9, Mortal Kombat 10, Mortal Kombat 11, which I still consider to be the best 2D fighter of all time, no doubt about it. Anyone that disagrees with me is obviously not a fan of fighting games. I'm talking about 2D fighters. I'm not talking about 3D fighters. When it comes to 3D fighters, everyone knows Tekken 7 is the best Tekken of all time. Anyone that disagrees with that, for me, is a little, I thought the Tekkens before that were way too goddamn fast. You know what I'm saying? I thought they nailed it. Like I thought they perfected it with Tekken 7. I have not been playing Tekken 8 that much because I feel like they went they did the opposite of what they should have done. Like with Tekken 7, I felt like they were completely going in the right direction. The only mistake that they really had with Tekken 7 was the guest character Akuma, which is way too good because he legitimately can just play this annoying keep away game with just throwing fireballs full screen and having you try to dodge. You know what I'm saying? And then like it wasn't that bad. Dealing with that was not that bad. But like let's say even though you shouldn't as a high level player, you should never miss. But like if you were just even a fraction of a centimeter off from landing your block string, Akuma would either uppercut you or spin kick you and just knock you out of anything you were doing. Like not only obviously if you're landing and he can't do that, but like I just felt he did that better than any other character in the game. You know what I'm saying? And that's what made him so good is that like obviously even the high level players they miss. Like they'll throw a jab and they'll miss. But like Akuma was so good that like he just completely just spin kick you on reaction and like just completely knock you out. And like obviously it didn't do that much damage, but like that's why a lot of people called him Super Akuma is that his combo routes he just had so many like that crouching light kick into spin kick into uppercut into FADC, which although I did really dislike that Bandai Namco made the FADC light punch and hard punch together when in Street Fighter 4, which is basically, Street Fighter is the franchise Akuma comes from. They could have just done hard punch, hard kick together, which we all know as medium punch and medium kick in Street Fighter franchise. We were all, every fanatic of Street Fighter, like when they saw Akuma was in Street Fighter in Tekken 7 was like, word, like I gotta use this character. Like I gotta represent for Street Fighter. Like this is the closest thing we'll ever get to Tekken Cross Street Fighter, which I'm still disappointed that the developers in Japan have not finished. I came up with I wouldn't even say I came up with it, but I suggested a great solution to the problem that the guest characters in Tekken 7 really caused. They created a big problem in the game where they basically did not have to play by the rules that every other character had to play by. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I gotta say, I gotta shout out Alex Valle because his Kazuya is probably the scariest Kazuya. I don't know if that was the Kazuya I was playing in Tekken 7, but he is terrifying. He is terrifying to play against. Let me tell you, he really is legit. Alex Valle is legit. I don't want to, I don't want to like, oh, like I feel like every fighting player, like game player has that egomaniac in them where it's like, you can't even touch me, dog. I'm the greatest. You can't even touch me. You know what I'm saying? But, I respect what he's doing with Kazuya because Kazuya is not the easiest character. I mean, he is easily, in my opinion, no doubt about it, he's top 5 for sure. He's up there with Paul Phoenix. I would say it's pretty close. I personally always thought Paul Phoenix was the better character. No one ever believed me until you saw the Asian guy. I forget his name, but he won the tournament first place with Paul Phoenix. Everyone's sitting there, oh, he don't know what he's talking about. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Paul Phoenix wins first place. Now everyone shuts up and goes, okay. I said that about Blanca when Street Fighter 6 first came out. Meta RD wins the tournament with Blanca. Oh, okay. He don't know what he's talking about. He's crazy. He don't know what he's talking about. Blanca wins the tournament. Oh, okay, maybe he's not that great. Sakura wins the tournament in Japan. Oh, maybe he's not that great. Sagat wins the tournament for Street Fighter 5. So like, I know a little something about it because I've always been a fanatic about it, of fighting games. So that's legitimately all I play. I'm a little back to the subject at hand. I'm a little disappointed that I don't know if it's Neo Geo that owns the rights to the original King of Fighters franchises or if it's SNK Playmore, but I would love to see all those. They would get way more sales on those older King of Fighters games, like King of Fighter 94 to 99, which a lot of people consider 99. I think they consider 98 or 99. I think it's 98 to be the best one of all time. I completely disagree with that. I think King of Fighters 12 was the best one of all time, not only artistically, but gameplay wise. It reminded me a little bit about Street Fighter 4, but it was kind of similar with that kind of like weird focus attack smash that like it completely just stunned your opponent and gave you a free combo. I thought that was way better than 13. I felt like 13 was like, if you're really good at doing combinations, then you have an advantage over your opponent. Because I'm not the best at doing combinations, but I know how to win regardless. Like, I can do them, but I'm not like Justin Wong level of caliber when it comes to like doing infinites in, like in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That's so far beyond me. You know, I've always been a controller player, and I feel like legitimately controller players do not have the same advantage in older fighting games that joystick players do. It wasn't until maybe, I would probably say maybe Marvel vs. Capcom franchise that made it easier and more accessible for controller players, which I appreciate Capcom USA. They did an amazing job with that. You know, they made it. I can't wait to see Marvel vs. Capcom 4. I hope they add characters that belong in it. You know, I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, Dhalsim, you can't put Dhalsim in Marvel vs. Capcom. Why not? Why don't you put Seth in Marvel vs. Capcom? Why don't you put Dhalsim? We need those amazingly strong characters. You know, because with the right teammates, you know, a Zangief is really good in Marvel. You know what I'm saying? With the right assist, like with a projectile assist, Zangief is frightening in Marvel. You know what I'm saying? With the right assist, these characters can be like, they go from being like, don't pick him at all, to like, uh-oh, he has Ryu throwing a fireball, and or Chun-Li throwing a fireball, and now he's suddenly the most dangerous character in the game. So, like, that's part of what makes Marvel vs. Capcom what it is. Like, that extremely cheap aspect to, like, because it's a 3-on-3. There kind of has to be this cheap aspect to it where it's like, oh my God, I can't believe he just caught me with some cheesy, no talent, you know, nonsense. And, like, he really got me with that. Like, congratulations. That's Marvel vs. Capcom. It always has been. The only thing I disagree with is the infinites. I think every character should have a triangle jump. I think it'll make the game way more scary, which is a good thing. I think, obviously, like I've said before, characters that can have flight mode and triangle jumps in Marvel vs. Capcom are far superior to any other character in the game. Does it mean that they're the only unstoppable characters in the game? No, but like against like, Captain America, I feel like can hold his own against any of those characters. But once they go into flight mode, Captain America becomes like completely irrelevant. It's like, why not give that kind of like, obviously I know Captain America could super jump and then throw a projectile at them. I feel like flight mode lasts too long. That's the big problem. I would remove flight mode altogether. I don't mind that character super jump. I don't mind that they can even do, I think the big problem is that characters can do like special moves in the air and stay up there for too long. Like Ryu could super jump if he has the lead, and like let's say the time is running out, you have one character and Ryu has his whole team with him, right? He could super jump in the air and just miss a fireball, drop down a little bit, throw a fireball, drop down a little bit, drop a fireball, and like not every character in the game has an air super to deal with that. Like, you know, Ryu could be on the ground and do a diagonal super towards his opponent, and you can't really do that. Like, against a Justin Wong who uses, like, flight mode with Storm and tries to throw tornadoes at you, he could no longer do that anymore against a good Ryu. Because a good Ryu with a level 1 super is going to super him on reaction. So the point I'm trying to make is that, like, yeah, Ryu can deal with it, but Captain America can't really deal with it. And that's the big problem that I have with the game is that, like, he's amazing. Captain America is amazing if your opponent is on the ground. But once they jump in the air, it becomes a whole nother, like, he's like literally useless. Like, can you throw the shield at them and hit them while they're in the air? You can, but like I feel like you have to be like pretty precise. It's like not the easiest thing to do, you know what I'm saying? Like and another thing, like when an opponent is in the air, they only have to block back. They don't have to worry about overheads because there's no overheads in the air. You know, they don't have to worry about low attacks because there are no low attacks in the air. So like these are advantages that guys like Justin Wong were really taking advantage of. You know what I'm saying? Like when he was fighting against like guys like legends like Chris G, like he would super jump in the air. He would throw the tornadoes to block projectiles from ever being able to touch him, right? Which is a brilliant strategy against Morgan. That's why he did so good against her, is because he was probably the only player in the entire country that sat there and went, wait a second, if I do this, Morgan really can't do nothing to me unless she super jumps at my level and then, or around my level, and then, you know, throws projectiles at me and stops me from doing that. But either way, all I have to do is hold back and I'm good all the way until I hit the ground again. And while I'm in the air, she can't throw any assists. So like I'm basically good. All I gotta do is block a few projectiles until I go back to the ground and I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But like the point I'm trying to make is that like I feel like they did fix some of the weaker characters by giving them like a triple jump or I don't know if Chun-Li has a triple jump or a double jump. I'm not a Chun-Li main in Marvel. I love her assist. I think it's one of the best assists in the game. In fact, I feel like it's the most underused assist in the game. I feel like you should not be able to push block an assist. Like, let's say you're blocking, your opponent puts a Chun-Li assist on you, you cannot push her away. I think that's completely unfair. You know what I'm saying? Like, I put my assist there, now you got to deal with it. Like, unless I completely miss, you got to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of other assists in the game that, like, you really got to deal with that. Like, I don't know. Maybe it makes the game too cheap and too good, but, like, maybe it'll make the game too good. I don't want to change too much of what maybe the developers have already tried that, and they're like, no, this is too hard to deal with. But it's a 3-on-3 fighter. So, like, it makes some of those weaker teams way stronger because, like, oh, I could just use Chun-Li assist with my weak-ass Ryu, and now he has to worry about my low or my overhead. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it changes everything. You know what I'm saying? It changes everything because now they got to block both. Like, they got to worry about a legitimate, you know, obviously the high-level players, like, they work on stuff like that and they block overheads because overheads is way easier to react to than a crouching light kick or a crouching medium kick. Maybe crouching medium kick is about the same as an overhead, but I know crouching light kick is much faster. You know, so that's just the established meta of 2D fighters. You know what I'm saying? With the exception of Mortal Kombat 1. I mean, Mortal Kombat in general. But yeah, like I said, the whole point of my video was just to say, like, I would love to see better collections from these developers. Like, when it comes to King of Fighters 94 through 99 and 2001, 2002, or 2002 and 2003 combined or whatever, like, just make that one collection. Just make that one collection. Like, Fatal Fury collection, that's acceptable. That's not King of Fighters. That was the franchise before King of Fighters. Just Fatal Fury was and Art of Fighting. You know, those could easily be their independent collections. Just bundle them all together. Like, stop trying to nickel and dime like the fans. Like, most fans are not going to go back to that genre of fighting games because there's not that much money in it. I still think they're some of the funniest fighting games of all time. I personally like it a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, you know what I'm saying? It's just what I love and it's what I like. You know what I'm saying? I'm not raining on anyone's parade. You know what I'm saying? Fatal Fury and King of Fighters. Um, Fatal Fury and Fatal Fury and Art of Fighting could be their own collection. I'm cool with that. But when it comes to King of Fighters, come on now. They combined the two and created King of Fighters in what, 94? And that should be an entire collection. Like I see on the PlayStation Store, it's like Neo Geo King of Fighters 94, Neo Geo King of Fighters 95, Neo Geo King of Fighters 96, all separate. That's mind-boggling to me. Like, I don't know if it's Blaze Blue or Blaze Blue. I always called it Blaze Blue. Um, that should be a collection in this day and age. Tekken should have a collection. Why don't we have a Tekken collection? Why are they still trying to sell us Tekken 1 by itself, or Tekken 2 by itself, or Tekken 3 by? They don't. I don't even think they sell Tekken 3 by itself. Like, just bundle them all together. Tekken to Tekken 6. Include the PSP version of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fans are more likely to spend $70 on an amazing collection that has all of them with online play than they are to buy one separate Tekken 1 game that looks like straight dog shit in this day and age. Someone that grew up in this generation looks at Tekken 1 and goes, that looks like straight dog shit. Why would I ever spend $10 on that? And for good reason. But, some of us that appreciate, how fighting games have evolved and gotten to where they're at, right now, fighting games are kind of deep, like it's an undoing of the evolution. Like, they got to the pinnacle of 2D fighters with Mortal Kombat 11, and then they went, okay, we know how to, we know the fans know that we know how to make a perfect fighting game, a near perfect fighting game, with the exception of Raiden's command grab and Rambo command grab. Everything else that I noticed in the game was flawless. It really was. You know what I'm saying? And then when they released Mortal Kombat 1, they were like, okay, this is the exact opposite of what a fighting game should be. But they somehow made it work, because some of the aspects of it were the way a fighting game should be. But there's some aspects of it where you go, how the fuck am I supposed to block that? Which I feel Sub-Zero, a lot of people are like, oh, Sub-Zero, he doesn't hit hard. It's a good fucking thing he doesn't. Because he's fucking phenomenal. Scorpion and Sub-Zero are fucking phenomenal. If they hit any harder than that, they would be unstoppable. And I still think they're too good. And like, a lot of people, they're like, oh, Sub-Zero changes the entire meta of Mortal Kombat 1. I don't care what anyone says. If you don't agree with me on that, there's something wrong with you. You have to play by Sub-Zero's rules. Sub-Zero does not have to play by your rules. With the exception of having meter to break through it. Like, let's say, he puts an ice clone on Wake Up. You literally have to deal with that. Another thing I would love I would love for Capcom and WB Games to solve and fix is, like, let's say, for example, Sub-Zero puts an ice clone in front of his opponent in the corner. His opponent can't move away from that. Sub-Zero, I don't know if they do this or not. I feel like it's very difficult to see the strikes that Sub-Zero is throwing at you when there's an ice clone active. The same way I feel like people are getting away with in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 with the assist that the priest, the voodoo priest, what's his name? Doctor Strange? The Marvel guy, Doctor Strange, right? That's his name? He puts like this yellow ball, and then like it kind of similar to the Chun-Li where it kind of pins you down. And then if, like, I would love to see the point character which would be Sub-Zero in this situation. Like it's obviously not a point character, but you know what I mean. Sub-Zero stays in front of the ice clone. If he puts an active ice clone, he can't be in this like behind it or like hard to see it. You know what I'm saying? Or like, let's say they put a Doctor Strange assist on the screen. Like it can't be this like unseeable. Like obviously you don't have to worry about grabs in that situation. So it's not that bad in Marvel vs. Capcom. You know what I'm saying? Because it just kind of lands where the opponent is automatically, which a lot of people love. I think that's another reason why Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite did not do as good as Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But in my opinion, I like the new feature that they added in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And I'm going to say it over and over again. I love having total control of my team. I love being able to bring my assist character in and kind of just not do anything. Just to give I love the way they did it. I love that I could just swap my character out way easier. I felt like in Marvel vs. Capcom, there was a lot of times where I did a hard knockdown on my opponent, and it was just not enough. I land a combo on my opponent and do a hard knockdown, right? It was not enough time to legitimately bring a new character in. Like I don't know, maybe it was because of the online play. I felt like they could give you like a quarter second longer or a half second longer just so that you could bring a new character in if you want to. Like sometimes you're about to like lose a character. Like I have Ryu. He took 2 characters out, but he's low on health. And I'm like, shit, I gotta get him out of here. I really gotta change him like immediately, otherwise I'm gonna lose a character. When I'd much rather have him as an assist as a backup, right? You know, because it's advantageous that way. You know, and I'll land the combo on my opponent, and then I'll be like, God damn, let me hold the assist button and get him out of here. And like, I don't know if it's because of online or it doesn't register like sometimes it'll just register that I did an assist, and I'm like, no, I don't want you to help me out right now. I want you to, change characters so that I don't have to worry about losing Ryu right now. Because like I'm one of the few people that actually uses Ryu in Street Fighter. I mean, in Marvel vs. Capcom. And I saw the match that Idon did with Justin Wong. I was very shocked to see that he dominated Justin Wong like that. But I was very shocked to also see that Justin Wong did not adapt and change characters. You know what I'm saying? I felt like he stuck that Wolverine out a little too long. It was not working out. Wolverine was not working out with you against the team that Idon was using. You changed characters, bro. What are you doing? He could have easily swapped Wolverine for Ryu and probably shut down any type of potential pressure that Idon could have possibly done full screen just by changing to Ryu. Because now level 1 is a threat to anything he does full screen. On reaction, he cannot basically do anything. So now Justin Wong can pressure him just by making one little change to this team. But like he really tried to ride it out with Wolverine and he got bodied, bro. He like literally got schooled, dog. I was like, I did not think that like maybe he was just out of practice. But goddamn, when you're out of practice, you do not put $1,000 on the line, bro. When you have not played Marvel vs. Capcom 3 in 10 years, you do not put $1,000 on the line. You think Michael Jordan puts $1,000 on the line on a one-on-one? When he's been sitting at home eating barbecue ribs for 10 years straight, he didn't even touch a basketball? You think Michael Jordan's really going to do that? No, he's going to go, hold on, let me get in shape. Let me work on it a little bit. Let me get back in the rhythm of how to play basketball a little bit. And then we could talk about putting money on the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, he literally got zoned to death, which is crazy to me. Because there's a lot of characters that he could have easily picked. Like, I love what he was doing with that Frank West team that he had. That Frank West team would have literally shopping cart right through all of his shit. Justin Wong could have just shopping cart through all his shit. Legitimately just shopping cart his ass to death, dog. Straight up. Frank West shopping cart is fucking unstoppable, dog. Justin Wong was like the first player to make that team popular. No one gave Frank West an opportunity. They were like, yo, that character's straight whack. Until he evolved him into like the final form. And then everyone was like, yo, Frank West is dope. But that's the problem. That's another problem I have with Marvel vs. Capcom. Frank West should already be the evolved version that he is in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Same thing I say about Phoenix Wright. Like, Phoenix Wright without that is straight trash. I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? The only reason, what was it? I Heart Justice did as amazing as he did was because he was playing the wall perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Like, what he did with that team is incredible. He was the first person to really use that assist and like really dominate with it. The Doctor Strange assist with the yellow ball, he was like literally the first guy doing that. That I remember using that. You know what I'm saying? But what he did with Phoenix Wright is insane. What he did with Phoenix Wright is miraculous. That is like easily the worst character in the game. Unless he evolves. Which is like pretty damn hard to do at the highest level. Finding everything you need to evolve him is like you never see anyone do that at the highest level. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see comeback videos with Phoenix Wright and you're like, oh shit, really? Like, he did that with Phoenix Wright? Yeah, he did that with Phoenix Wright only because he evolved the character to the final level. The same thing with Frank West. Frank West without the evolution is straight trash other than the shopping cart assist. Does he have some of the most amazing special moves in the game? Absolutely. The one that he kind of like flings a zombie on you is dope as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I like the one that he kind of like he's like, oh shit, and then like a zombie comes walking out and it's like, that's dope. I feel like the zombie's not moving fast enough though. Like, if Frank West had something like that, where like he had he had options with that, like I don't know. I'm not a perfectionist with any of these characters. I'm Team Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm probably the only guy that actually uses Team Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm the only guy that tries to make Ryu, Akuma, and Chun-Li work out. You know what I'm saying? And Chun-Li is dope. Chun-Li's dope in Marvel. I feel like her level 3 is like maybe easily the best level 3 in the entire game. No doubt about it. Or her which one's the one that does the super art? Is it 2 or 3 in Third Strike that Justin Wong always uses? And that's another thing. I got to give props to Justin Wong. The reason I say that is because he was beating not only some of the best Japanese Street Fighter players of all time, and let me tell you something. The players he was beating, even though he lost to Daigo Umehara, which a lot of people consider to be the best Street Fighter player of all time. Let me tell you something. What he did before the Evo moment number 37, what he did to Daigo Mahara was phenomenal. Before he ended up losing, what he did was phenomenal. He did that without a crouching light kick super. He does not have a crouching light kick into a super with Chun-Li. For whatever reason, Chun-Li cannot do a crouching light kick into super in any way, shape, or form, as far as I know. The only way I think it's possible is if she combos crouching light kick, crouching jab into a super. And believe it or not, that's still pretty damn hard to do. It's not like as easy as it is when you pick Ken. Like Ken on hit has 3 opportunities with that crouching light kick. Is it 2 or 3? If he adds a jab, crouching light kick, crouching jab, crouching light kick, he has 3 opportunities to land that level 3 super. So he has 3 chances, basically, to buffer that super the entire time. And even if he misses on block or on hit, it's still safe. So like it's a legitimately strong option, and that's why you see a lot of players going for that. In third strike, this is a very high level tactic. Believe me, I know, because I was, easily, one of the best players, if not the best player. There was probably only one other Ken player that was playing. I don't know who he is. And the Yoon player, he was dope. What he was doing in lag with Yoon was incredible. I do got to give him his credit, but I did beat him more times than he beat me. What was I going to say? That's why I give Justin Wong the props, that probably more props than any other player. Like, we as fighting game players, we're like, we're, like I said, we have like a little bit of egomaniac that we don't want to lose. Nobody does, right? So like, but what Justin Wong was doing without a crouching light kick into super and a crouching jab, first of all, he cannot do the super he picked he cannot do the crouching light kick or crouching jab into the super he picked without it getting counter hit. Like, let's say he did crouching light kick. I believe the only way it would work out is if it hit. But I think even on hit, I would recover quick enough that I could still literally do a light punch uppercut with Ken and hit him out of is it a level 3 super or level 2? The one that Justin Wong always picks. I don't remember. I think it's level 2. It's the Super R2. You could even throw him out of it at the startup, which is crazy. I don't recommend doing that, but I have done it. You know what I'm saying? That's what he was up against. He was up against Yoon players that were transforming into 3 guys, and there's nothing you could do. The only thing, like the only change I would make, like if I was Justin Wong, in third strike, you got to switch. When you pick dive kick characters, you have to switch to level 1 super with Chun-Li, because that's a pretty good anti-air super. It really works as a pretty damn good anti-air super. Can they parry it and counter you? I would say most characters have a tough time doing that. Just doing the full parry is hard enough in and of itself. Are there players that practice that? And of course. But realistically, you know what I'm saying? Most players are probably not going to jump unless, it's at the right time. Especially like against characters that like to neutral jump slightly outside of like anti-air normal range with Chun-Li, like a Yoon or a Yang or an Akuma. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only recommendation I would make to Justin Wong's game. I don't want to act like, like I'm like, I just love the franchise, I love the game. But like, I feel like he rides out that level 2 choice in third strike too much. I understand it is the better option. You get more meter. You have more meter for anti-airs, and Chun-Li's anti-air is pretty damn good. Maybe not the best in the game, but it is pretty hard to parry. So it does make it one of the better anti-airs because of that. In comparison to some of the rest, I do kind of understand his decision making there. But like against dive kick characters only, I would switch to that level one super Hadouken fireball that she does. I feel like that shuts down a lot of those dive kick characters. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the best players are dive kicking when the pressure is available. You know what I'm saying? And like it makes it hard to deal with regardless, even when you're playing Ken and Ryu. The only difference is that like Ken and Ryu have that like invincible super, just like they have invincible EX uppercuts, and that's why you see characters like players like Daigo Umehara who are basically um making it so far with these characters is because a lot of people are like, oh, Dudley. I do agree. Dudley's overhead is one of the few in the game, just like Ken, besides universal overhead and jumping attacks that can actually combo into supers, and that's what makes Ken and Dudley so good. And Dudley and Sean also have that fake projectile. Well, it is a projectile, but it's like it doesn't necessarily have to be respected as much as a traditional projectile, if you know what I mean. Like, for example, like an EX fireball from Ryu, like legitimately has to be respected. Like most supers will not go through it and get counter hit, which I love back then. I love that it was like that. I love that you had to respect a player's move way more back then. You know what I'm saying? Was it like every single move was exactly the way? Like I have some areas in the game where I kind of disagree, but like I understand it's not easy to make these games. Like I know they put years of their years, of their life and their hard work and their time and their energy. I appreciate that as a longtime fan. You know what I'm saying? I would love to be in Japan. Like I would love to be playing in the arcades in Japan with Daigo Umehara, Tokido. I don't even care about the winning the tournament or winning the money. I just want to play against them. I just want to be in a room with them playing like sets, first to 3, first to 5, first to 10. I'm happy with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I legitimately have, a lot of respect for how good they really were. Like before before fighting games got really easy to play, Justin Wong and Daigo Umehara were dominating in some of the hardest fighting games of all time. Like it was not easy to do those infinites in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Probably way easier than doing a normal attack into a super in Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. You know what I'm saying? But like, which is funny to me because I never honestly saw Daigo Umehara land a normal attack into super with Ryu. Where I have seen DGV, which is easily, even though he did lose to Daigo Umehara in HD Remix, he's easily the best Ryu player, probably besides myself and maybe Shoto's All Day. I do like Shoto's All Day. I love the name, by the way, too. And maybe John Choi as well. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would like to see better collections from these developers, man. Especially Mortal Kombat. What do we have to do to make Mortal Kombat re-release, the amazing arcade collection? Oh, let me just make sure I'm still okay. Okay. Uh, like the only thing they released a collection that had like for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, it had Mortal Kombat 2, and then Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, which is way more balanced than Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Even though most players do agree that Mortal Kombat Trilogy is the better choice, just because it has every character unlocked. Every variation of every character is unlocked in the game. You don't even have to do anything. It's already just there for you, which I love. But like I get that, it gives you something to do and to unlock. I kind of hate that because I literally just play online. Um, and if I could pay like a DLC like 1,000 points, like $5 or $10, just to unlock all the costumes in the game, all the characters in the game, I would gladly do that with a smile on my face. Like when I was a little kid, I did not care. I sat there, I beat the game with every player, every character, watched all the endings, and I enjoyed it as a little kid. Now I don't have time. I don't really have time for that. I just want to play online and like, customize the game the way I like. You know what I'm saying? That was basically the point of my video, is that like I'm a little disappointed that the original kind of generation of fighting games is not really getting appreciated. Not only like, I feel like we kind of established the meta for all these like players that are now getting recognition and now really establishing themselves. Like we did that. Like we was grinding hard and like developing like what we consider to be the meta of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not sitting here and saying, oh, you got to bow down before me and kiss my ass. I'm just saying like, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? We really established that from early on. Like we really didn't like, we got fighting games when they first came out, and we were like, what the hell is this? What do we do with this? How's the best way to use this? We didn't know, but we experimented and we played other players that were like, his favorite character is Raiden. My favorite character is Sub-Zero. His favorite character is Scorpion. So we just kind of ended up running into each other and like, oh, this Scorpion is dope as hell. Like, oh, I didn't know you could jump kick him, teleport on the other side, catch him with the spear, bring him back, and uppercut him. And now almost half my life is gone. And like, uh-oh, now Scorpion is easily the best character in the game. We went from going, Scorpion's kind of whack, to one player realizing what you can really do with this character. And now everyone's going, holy shit, Scorpion's easily the best character in the game. So like that's what happens in fighting games. The meta changes and it evolves, and like we start understanding things where it's like, I still think Lily is one of the best characters in the game, but with modern controls. Human reaction time doesn't, like a computer can easily make you look foolish when you fight Lily. But there's not too many humans out there that can legitimately, consistently put those setups to use. Now, like Zangief and Lily with modern controls, Manat with modern controls, abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Absolutely, but these big tournaments, they don't allow you to use modern controls, and I'm very happy they don't, because you have like 2-button supers, and if you guys don't know, 2-button level 3 super, you could literally counter a jab on reaction with modern controls, whereas with regular traditional controls in Street Fighter, someone misses a jab. If you're lucky, you might be able to counter it in time with a normal attack, and even doing that is hard enough as it is. It's way easier now than ever before, but like to do a level 3 on reaction to a jab is like some computer type shit. It's some robotic type shit. Now they created modern controls, which was a real good thing for Street Fighter, because believe it or not, I have not seen so many females playing Street Fighter like ever. Like for the first time in my life, I'm scrolling through TikTok and YouTube, and I'm seeing female content creators like actually legitimately grinding Tekken and Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. I'm like, what? I'm like, does she have a set of balls or something that I don't know about or something? Like where did this bitch come from? Like, I think she got balls and shit. Like, does she have a dick and balls, bro? Like, because, like, where the fuck did this bitch come from? She's doing like 50% combos in Tekken 7 and shit. and making guys look foolish and shit. Where did this Chinese bitch come from? Where the fuck did this bitch come from? But yeah, to make a long story short, like I I hope the developers really understand that like the new players, even if you were not born in the generation these older games came out, support your fighting game developers, man. Because that's gonna help them and inspire them and motivate them to continue putting out new shit for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just go like, oh, I only play the new shit because there's only money in the new shit. No, go back to the origins of each franchise and support it as much as you can. Buy all the shit. Buy everything they have available to download. You know what I'm saying? Like I try my like I have not done it for all of them, but I'm almost there. Like I'm like I literally just need to get like a few more Japanese fighting games, even though I don't necessarily play Under Night In-Birth. I'm going to add that into my collection in due time. It's just that I feel like a lot of these other games are just kind of Street Fighter clones. And like for that, I'd just rather play Street Fighter. Like I go as far as King of Fighters, but that's just because I always love the character design and like how they really stereotype all these characters. You know what I'm saying? I always love like the way they design the characters. Like I always thought it was so funny. You know what I'm saying? I love the Samurai Showdown Neo Geo collection that you guys did. I bought that day one. That was beautiful. I'm not that good at it anymore. When I was a kid, I was brilliant at it. I was fucking unstoppable when I was like, you know, a little boy and I didn't have nothing else to do. And like, you know, I wasn't thinking about pussy back then. Like I was just straight thinking about fighting games. You know what I'm saying? Like that was before I even cared about, I don't care about, you know, I still don't care about pussy, but like back then I didn't even think about it. It wasn't even on the agenda. You know what I'm saying? Now, like all day long, I'm like, yo, I gotta get some pussy. I gotta get some pussy. And that kind of conflicts with like my love for fighting games a little bit. But, you know, we grow up and we mature and we start moving towards different paths in life. You know, that's just part of life. You know what I'm saying? Fighting games is always going to be like a big part of who I am and what I love and what I like about like entertainment. I love that we kind of control like these digital characters and like kind of express ourselves and kind of like compete and dominate each other and like, you know, exploit each other's weaknesses. And like we run into brick walls sometimes, you know, whether the character's broken or not is, you know, regardless of which, you know what I'm saying? But we run into brick walls where we go, damn, like I thought I was the best. And then I ran into this guy's Dalsim and he made me look kind of foolish. But that's part of what happens in the FGC. You know, that happened to Sonic Fox when he was coming up. Now look at him. He's, you know, he's going to be like literally if he wins like one more tournament, he's going to surpass Justin Wong's world record. You know what I'm saying? And that could easily happen any day now. You know what I'm saying? So like I understand that the meta changes, the community changes, and I get that. Like they're a business and they're trying to make as much money as they can. I think if they listen to me a little bit more, I think they could make even more money than that. Because what people really want to see is a game that makes more sense than a game that just kind of helps players that think they're good into believing that they are good when they really aren't. Whereas like when you play a guy like Justin Wong, he really is good. And when you give him one of those broken characters, it's terrifying. The same way you give me a broken character, it's terrifying. Because I just have so much experience in it. And that goes for anyone in life. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what you do, you put the time in, you put the effort in, you're going to evolve, you're going to get better, and that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? I just happen to be really nerdy when it came to video games and fighting games particularly. That's just always going to be my love. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I'm with a woman and she can't understand that I love to compete in fighting games, I can't be with her. It won't work out. Because it's always going to be something that I put my attention to and put my effort to. You know, it's a positive way, you know, for me to you know, do something with my time without, you know, wasting my energy, you know. Because if it weren't for my PlayStation, I would be like 140 pounds, skin and bones, because I would just be doing nothing but busting nuts all day. You know what I'm saying? But because of fighting games, I'm actually like well over 200 pounds. I'm like damn near 250. You know what I'm saying? So like, you get what I'm saying? Like if it weren't for fighting games, I would be like 140, 150 pounds. I'd be like 100 pounds lighter. I mean, have you not seen these TikTok videos these bitches are putting out? They like legitimately made it so that like strip clubs are like literally irrelevant nowadays. Because these TikTok content creators and YouTube content creators, they literally brought the strip club to you. Now you could do all the things you really wanted to do at the strip club, like pull your dick out and start playing with it. Now you could do that in the comfort of your own home without feeling like such a pervert. Because like if you try to do the Pee Wee Herman at a strip club, like bitches are gonna act like you're crazy, and the bouncer's gonna grab you and like throw you the fuck out of the place. He's gonna throw you out of the strip club straight up. He's gonna pick you up and take you the fuck out of there. What the fuck are you doing, pal? No, you're not supposed to be pulling that out here. Only I could do that here. You know what I'm saying? But like the point I'm trying to make is that listen, I don't really care. It's a joke. You need guys like me throwing that shit in the air like that. You need guys like me out there throwing the shit out. You need guys like me throwing the shit out there. Somebody got to do it. What was I gonna say? Yeah. Like I said, you know, I'm like, it's my love. Like, I don't want to make the stream too long. I just legitimately was trying to beg the developers to release better collections. Like, they did Midway Arcade Treasures for PlayStation 2 and PlayStation Portable. That was an amazing collection. I don't know if Midway still owns the rights to the original NBA Jam and the original arcade Mortal Kombat games, but whether it's Midway or WB Games, something has to be done about it. Mortal Kombat is at the pinnacle of popularity, and we still don't have an original collection of these amazing games they were doing back then. I never got into 3D Mortal Kombat as much as I wish I did, and I would love for them to re-release it. I don't need a remaster. I just need a re-release with online play, especially the Mortal Kombat. I don't know which one it was. They had like a Mortal Kombat version of Mario Kart. I would love to play that. I would love to play that with online play. Like, really? You're telling me I could play Mario Kart with Mortal Kombat characters? I would love to see a collection of the Mortal Kombat games that were not fighting games. Like Shaolin Monks, Sub-Zero Mythologies, and then I think they did one where it was like Jax had his own game for whatever reason. And from what I understand, everyone's talking shit about it. But I just know that Midway and WB Games, like, I might not agree with every little detail. I love Midway. I like literally have no complaints about Midway. Midway was making it, I feel, in a lot of ways, the way it should have been done. Like, entirely. With the exception of the Infinites, they just they didn't know about it. They didn't know someone was going to catch somebody with a rainball, kick them, hard kick them, jab them in the air, hard kick them, jab them in the air, and then the fight's over. They didn't know guys were going to figure that out. They didn't know that people were going to use Shiva in the corner, and like Ryo, the god of Mortal Kombat. They didn't know that Ryo, the god, was going to figure out that you could do crouching hard kick or crouching light kick in the corner with Shiva and just juggle you for one of the easiest infinites in Mortal Kombat 3 history. They didn't know that. They didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? I would love for Melina and Sub-Zero's low special attacks. Sub-Zero has the slide and Melina has the ball. Molina Ball. I would love for those to be mid. I feel like they can make a legitimate. I feel like they could legitimately fix a lot of the issues with Mortal Kombat with WB games by just making a simple change to making a move hit low to a move hitting mid. Just like Cammy in Street Fighter. The cannon quarter circle forward kick, cannon drill. I think it's cannon drill. That should be legitimately a mid. I think, you know what I'm saying? It's way easier to deal with now, but like, I don't know, maybe it's the lag, but I feel like it's like, it goes from like, she's full screen to like, now she's like literally tripping you up and like, you never saw anything in between. So I'm convinced that it's the lag. I'm convinced that, you know, in my opinion, Cammy should not be safe on block. I feel like she's safe on, she should be easier to counter after the spinning back fist anti-projectile special move that she has. I feel like it should legitimately be. I just realized them changing it from half circle. Is it half circle forward or is it quarter circle back now? I don't know, but it doesn't. I don't care. I don't use Cammy. Cammy's too good in Street Fighter 6 to have target combos. That's a simple change that Capcom can make to Street Fighter 6 that can really fix the game for the better. Like Ryu, Akuma, Ken. Ken's target combo is pretty damn slow. But I still Ken, Akuma, Ryu, Cammy, for example, they're too good to have target combos. In fact, I think target combos should legitimately be removed from the game altogether. I know a lot of Ken players are like, no, like I'm saying that. I really mean that. As a high level Ken player, I'll be okay if Ken no longer has standing medium punch into standing hard punch target combo. I'll survive. I'll survive if he did not have crouch standing medium kick. In fact, I prefer that he only has one standing medium kick. It was way harder to do that kick in the original Super Turbo. You actually had to do dragon punch motion with what was it, medium kick first to get that to work. They call it crazy kicks with Ken. You know what I'm saying? The point. I'm rambling off, but like the point of this video that I really wanted to make was that I go like because I was looking for Fatal Fury and I got curious to see what else they had like Fatal Fury, and they're selling those games individually. Sell it as a bundle. Fatal Fury collection, all of them. All of them, including the one from '99. The one that Mark of the Wolves. What people consider to be like the best SNK fighting game. I personally disagree with that. I still think King of Fighters 12 was the best one they ever did, even though I felt like King of Fighters 13 artistically looked a little bit more polished, especially on a flat screen TV. I don't know, maybe my settings were a little off, but I felt with King of Fighters 12, it looked very pixelated. Maybe I just didn't change my settings correctly, and that's why it looked kind of pixelated. But King of Fighters 13 looked beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised. I was a little upset with GameStop that they didn't have the physical copy of King of Fighters 13 Global Match. You know what I'm saying? I'm very surprised at that. I'm very surprised that such a large corporation couldn't get their hands, like if people pre-order, like if I was GameStop, I would just have people pay in advance and then you can't get a refund. Make up your mind. Do you want to buy this shit or not? Because I feel like what they're losing a lot of money on is shipping Like people go, oh, yo, I want that Tony Hawk Pro Skater game with the skateboard, and then like the game, they deliver it to the store and do you the favor, and then like you don't pay the rest of it. You only put $5 down, and then you're like, oh no, I changed my mind. I want my $5 back, and then they wasted like 20, $30 in shipping, $20 on shipping for you, and then you like completely made them waste some money. So like if I was GameStop, I would make a subtle change like that. You know what I'm saying? Because like it'll make people like really decide like, okay, I want Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, 3, and 4 collection, but I don't want the skateboard included. Okay, so I'll pay in advance now. I'll pay the 50 now, and I'll guarantee that I get one on release. I respect that they're doing me the favor. You know what I'm saying? Even though like nowadays I'm like switching basically to digital only. Um, but like I said, um, yeah, like I said, yeah, I lost train of thought. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Please, developers. I know. I've never really been big on Blaze Blue. I don't know how you pronounce it. I love artistically for a 2D fighter. It had some of the most beautiful backgrounds I've ever seen in my life. I was like, damn, like this person should be putting their art in a museum. Like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, just making fighting games? Like, they should be painting like they should be making like works of art in a museum, man. That shit is fucking beautiful. Um, I wish like some of the more low budget 2D fighters, like for example, Guilty Gear and Under Night in Birth, I wish they would stop being so stingy with this DLC character shit. Like, damn, bro, I just bought a game from you for $70. You're telling me that you cannot um um I just bought a game for you for $70. You know what I'm saying? And then you want me to pay for Biking and Guilty Gear. Biking is my favorite character in the entire franchise. The only two characters I was legitimately like I felt like I was good with in the original Accent Core was the girl with the hair that kind of had the Chun Li hair, like the pretty little white girl, and then Biking. I love Biking. She was like legitimately the only character in the game that I could honestly do her super. I don't know what the hell it is about Japan when it comes to SNK Playmore and it comes to Arc system and Access games. They have some of the most unorthodox super motions in the entire game. I don't know if they do that on purpose where it's like, yeah, we don't want the game to be about just landing one super. We want the game to be about you legitimately be good enough to win even without one. So we're going to make it extremely difficult to land one, like a double half circle back and then a forward punch or some weird shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And like, I kind of understand the logic there. Like, in a way, I kind of understand it though. Like, I feel like they wanted you to win without having to rely on a super only. Cause like that was a real big problem in Super Turbo was that like Ryu players and Ken players and Blanca players and Chun-Li players in Super Turbo were legitimately doing neutral jump, spin kick, building meter, neutral jump, spin kick, neutral jump, spin kick, neutral. Now they have a super, and now you have to fight for your life because you know you can't make a mistake. All right. No, I have someone. What was I gonna say? All right, I'm gonna end the video there. I don't know if I'm really gonna play that much today because I played a lot yesterday. But I mean, I know there's like it's hard for a business when it comes to businesses like WB Games and Midway. Goddamn, you made billions of dollars, bro. You made billions of dollars, bro. You can't just put a collection for the fans out there when it comes to Tekken and Mortal Kombat and Well, Capcom, I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate that you guys have been selling these collections. I've been wanting you to do this for a very long time. I'm a little upset that the new collection that you guys are coming out with does not have, from what I understand, I think there was 2 rival school games in Japan, but they're only bringing 1 to the United States in the collection. I was a little upset about that. I thought there was only one. I thought there was only one. I thought Rival Schools and Project Justice were the same exact game. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's a part 1 and a part 2. I'm not 100% certain about that. But damn, can we get a update later on with the second game if there is a second game? Because I'm almost positive there is a second game. And like I'm confused as to why you chose what's that corny platform fighter that Capcom did? That everyone pretends like that it's so amazing because they want to be like little ass kissers on the internet, but the shit is straight butt cheeks. Even though the character design looked cool as hell. Whoever designed the characters did a good job, but for the actual game itself is straight trash. It's going to be in the new collection as well. I don't know why they chose that instead of Power Stone. They did a Power Stone collection for PlayStation Portable. They should have just re-released the Power Stone collection for PlayStation Portable onto the newer hardware. And like, if you're a big fan of Power Stone, which I am not, even though I did buy the collection for PlayStation Portable. I made a mistake by saying PS. Cancel. Okay, I can't say that word. I forgot. Even though I do regret buying that because it does suck. It's terrible. I hate to say that about you, Capcom, but someone has to say it. The character design was incredible. I love the artist that designed the characters did an amazing job because the characters look very interesting. But the game itself, the people that actually program the game and everything, straight ass. It is straight ass. But they could have just done that. You know, as a fan, I don't know if I would have went out and bought the Power Stone collection a second time because I was very disappointed with the first one because it's straight trash. I don't know why, as a little kid, I thought the game was like incredible, but it's straight trash. As a kid, I was like completely into the game, and it's straight trash. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I would have much rather had Rival Schools, which is a way better fighting game. I honestly hope that Capcom does Street Fighter EX collection that was originally released on PlayStation, and I believe the first two, the first original 3D Street Fighters, even though they were on a 2D playing field, I believe were released on PlayStation, and then the final one was released on PlayStation 2. The Street Fighter EX Plus Alpha 3. Those games deserve their own collection. I did support EX Fighting Layer. I don't know why they even called it that. I would have much rather it been called like Akira Fighters or something like that, or you know, because that company's character design is really good, and it's a shame that we may never see like a remaster of that game because like I love the character design of that game. Like I'm talking about the characters that were not part of Capcom. I'm talking about like Crackerjack and like Skullomania and the fake Zangief that looks like he's like the Persian Zangief and he has like this long mustache and the black underwear. And for whatever reason, they gave him a full screen teleport like Dhalsim, where like if you throw, you can't even throw fireballs at this guy because like if you throw a fireball, he teleports behind you and then he does the Zangief, and he picks you up and spins you in the air and like tombstones your ass, and like that's it's a good. Hey, like I like white guys. Relax, pal. I told you to keep your fucking shirt on. What was I going to say? Yeah, I love the character design. I think the company's called Akira, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what it's called, but I know that they did a collaboration with Capcom, and I believe the games were entirely made by that company instead of Capcom. But I would love to see, like, maybe, you know, a new game where those characters are maybe included in the next Street Fighter, because, like, they had some dope characters. Like, there was this, like, weird Blanca-looking guy. He looked dope as hell with, like, spikes and shit. You know what I'm saying? I thought Crackerjack definitely deserves to be in Street Fighter somehow, some way. That white boy looked dope, yo. I'm not even gonna lie. The white boy in like the three-piece business suit, and then he had the fedora. He had like the fedora like tilted down so like you could barely see his face, like his eyes. And like he was just looking down and like he had like this real bounce to him and shit. But like he had a suit and tie, but he didn't have the blazer on. That shit was dope, dog. That character's dope. And like when he hits you, he would rock you, dog. Like when he rocked you with the special move punch, dog, he sent you flying, dog. He laid you out with one punch, dog. The shit is dope. Like it's a shame that some of those amazing characters are going to be like kind of lost in time just because like they don't want to do a deal with this guy. Like he's an amazing character designer. He really is. The guy who made like the other characters in the Street Fighter EX Alpha series, you know, that shit was dope, man. That it really was. Like for the time it came out, it was like pretty innovative. Like it was around the time where like Tekken was out, you know what I'm saying? And like they were still holding their own. Like it still felt like Street Fighter. Even though the graphics were like way better for the time, it still felt like Street Fighter. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. If I do decide to play, you guys will see. You know, I've recently I have been using Ken, but my Ken is just either I grind with Ken and I do good. I just don't like winning with Ken because like it's all like I swear to God, it's like a lot of gimmicks. You know what I'm saying? And then like I don't know. I love Ken in Street Fighter 6. I think he can win, which was proven, you know, by the first place winner in Evolution tournament. But like I feel like he's gotten way worse with the. I guess I don't know if they patched him too hard or anything, but I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. But I'll leave it at that. I do want these collections. Hopefully they come out. What's up with the game? Who made Bandai Namco? Are you guys the ones that did JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? The 2D fighter for PlayStation 3, but was re-released recently on PlayStation 4 and 5, right? What's up with what? Why is it still $40, bro? I mean, the game flopped when it first came out, bro. I mean, graphically, like I did love the special effects of the game. I don't really know all the characters like that, but I feel like the game like was decent. And like I think they should have been dropped that to 20. I don't know if I missed out on a few sales, but goddamn, they bumped that shit up to $40 again. So yeah, I would love to see more collections that like that's about it. I don't want to waste too much bandwidth, but if I might be playing, I hope if you're the M Bison player, if I hope if you're the M Bison player that bodied my Dalsim yesterday, early on in the day, I hope you're still listening. I hope you can hear me, and I hope you're still playing because I really want a rematch with that M Bison. I really want to. You know, you should be winning. I mean, let's be honest here. You should be winning. I mean, when you get, you know, 15 normal attacks in a row, and I only get like two, you know, you should be winning. That's the same thing I say with Ken. Like, damn, he strikes me for like 5 minutes. Like Dalsim, I pick Dalsim, I strike them for like about 5 seconds. I play any other character in the game, they strike me for like 10 minutes straight. You know what I'm saying? You know, one thing I would change if I could, if I was a developer of Street Fighter 6, I would make it so that you could legitimately perfect parry every single special move in the game and every drive impact in the game 100% of the time. That way, it does encourage players um, to play the game properly. So, like, if I throw a fireball with Ryu 100% of the time, if I parry, it's going to be a perfect parry. Now Ryu's going to go, okay, I can't play like such a fucking, you know, I can't play like this little keep away game where I'm just trying to, you know, throw fireballs and hope that they perfect parry, you know, or like, you know, it's legitimately extremely hard to do online. And that's why Ryu is so good online. And like Ryu's also too good to have like these like quarter circle punch moves that he does not have to combo. And for whatever reason, I don't like that his sidestep kick, which was normally half circle forward kick, in with hard kick in Street Fighter 3, legitimately cannot be comboed off of a standing hard punch, or I believe even a crouching hard punch. He can only use the medium kick version off of hard punch or EX, enhanced drive meter. I don't understand that. I would much legitimately, as a Ryu player, if I land standing hard punch, I would especially against a Zangief or something like that, I would legitimately want to just do hard kick, sidestep kick, special move, and kick them full screen again and have them go through the trials and tribulations of trying to get back to me. You know what I'm saying? The problem with that is that, like, if they do that, like, Zangief instantly becomes the best character in the game somehow. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't perfect parry his command grabs. But if they were smart, they would make Zangief and Manat and what other character, Lily command grabs, make the first hit of it, program it so that the hit, they have to land it like they land every other normal attack into special move in the game. Then after it actually hits and lands, it does the animation of grabbing them and doing the Zangief 360 power driver. Obviously, if they have to combo it now, you would change it from, I would personally, as a developer, I would change them all to quarter circle forward, punch or kick. You know what I'm saying? I would make legitimately, I would make some changes where running bear grab maybe is how he gets through projectiles, and then his lariat is how you legitimately anti-air. Because everyone knows Zangief's lariat to be anti-air. If you change that, it's going to be too much. But like you either have to bring back Green Hand for projectiles, or make running bear grab, which it is in Street Fighter 6, the anti-projectile move that Zangief has. But you have to had already committed to doing it before they like kind of fully throw the projectile out. Otherwise, it's gonna get hit. I'm not a Zangief main, so don't quote me on that. Uh, but yeah, I think I might play a little casual right now. Hopefully, if the M Bison player that whooped my ass, I did win a few, but like it was legitimate. I'm not even gonna lie, it was legitimately like probably like 20 or 30 to like 5. And I'm being like, I'm legitimately like probably boosting it like 50%. It was probably more like 2 or 3. I'd say I may have legitimately won like 5, maybe less than 10 out of like 30 or 40 matches. So like, I'm not going to deny that I got bodied by the M Bison player. Um, but it's ridiculous. Like, at the startup of Scissor Kick, especially when there's like, let's say M Bison does like pressure into a Scissor Kick, but it's not a combo, you should be able to drive impact him. You should be 100% be able to perfect parry him there. You know what I'm saying? Like, the problem with Capcom is they make it too difficult to do what's necessary to get the fuck out of the trap. The moves are too fast, especially online. It's extremely difficult, maybe even impossible to perfect parry. And it's legitimately the only way to get through it. And that's why I say, as a developer, change the requirements so that, like, let's say someone tries to drive impact you in the corner. If you parry, it automatically perfect parries as soon as the attack lands, because they obviously didn't do it at the right time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you can't drive impact them back. Like, let's say you do a crouching medium kick with Ken and they drive impact it, and then you drive impact them back. I'm cool with that being in the game. But what I'm not cool with is it being extremely difficult to perfect parry, or to parry like and get through it and like do the dash and like counter them. It's way harder than it should be. And that's the big problem. I feel like it's a big deterrent for players like really getting into the game. Like, if Akuma throws a full screen fireball and I parry, and it 100% of the time perfect parries, every player is going to understand, oh, that's all I have to do to get through this shit. Now I could drive rush out of that, and I could either counter if I'm at the right distance, or at least put myself in a pressure situation, or at least close enough that now he's probably not going to throw any more of those anytime soon. Like, I would love for them to legitimately add way more damage scaling to the drive impact that crashes you into the wall and gives them a free combo. I would like to legitimately maybe see 75% damage reduction, maybe even more than that. Maybe like 90% damage reduction. Maybe with the exception of like level 3 super. Like, I feel like that's a lot of meter earned for it to be so heavily reduced. But like, goddamn, like, he's gonna crash me into the wall and then level 3 me and win the round though? Like, that to me is crazy. Like, that shit make me just want to turn the fucking game off. But like, if they legitimately, as developers, just put a percentage bar, like, I know it's not easy for mathematically and programmers to do this, but like, just make perfect parry, legitimately perfect parry any single special move that's not part of a combo. Let's say Lily tries to do an EX Dragon Punch kick. the one that T-Hawk had in Street Fighter 4 that is anti-projectile, which I would legitimately make anti-projectile all the time. I would take away her dive kick in the air and legitimately have her do regular jumps in the air and then legitimately rely on doing the anti-projectile move at the right time. And let's say it does a hard knockdown, the regular one does a hard knockdown, no additional combo possibilities, unless maybe they're in the corner. But if they do the EX one, it leads to them standing. Leave them standing. Don't pop them up in the air, because it makes it so much harder as a fighting game player, especially in Street Fighter. It's fast, especially online. It's even harder online. So, like, I understand why the developers did that. They didn't want you to get too much damn damage off of landing a correct EX special move, but they let you get a little bit additional. Like, let's say, for example, like Ken in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Let's say Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Ken lands an EX uppercut as counter hit, which I disagree with. It should always be it should always behave as a counter hit. It may not necessarily be a counter hit, but it should always, like in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, they would ground bounce on counter hit. Like, even like if Elena caught you with an overhead, like it would just ground bounce you. Like if you try to like jump out of an overhead or whatever and get hit by it, it would ground bounce you and give Elena like the possibility to just get a free DP, like anti-air. When people say DP in fighting games, that just means Dragon Punch. Dragon Punch is any special move that has the same input motion as like Ryu's Dragon Punch Shoryuken in Street Fighter. So like forward down forward was the original DP motion. So like any character that has a DP motion, they just call it DP for short for Dragon Punch. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think you should only get additional combo possibilities if you earned meter and you want to cash in on that meter. You want to capitalize on that meter and like trade it in for some additional damage. Like, let's say you have a full super bar meter, right? And you only need about like maybe 2 medium punches, to win the round, right? So like, you don't want to, you don't want to use the whole super bar, to win the round too, because you just might want to use like a crouching medium kick into EX uppercut with Ken. You know what I'm saying? Or any other character that could do a variation of that in their own way. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Like with Zangief, like standing medium punch into EX lariat. You might not want to use the super meter because you don't have to win the round. But, doing lariat, the point I'm trying to make is this, like, that's the way Street Fighter should be. That's the way Mortal Kombat is. So, in a lot of ways, I do love what Mortal Kombat is doing with 2D fighters. It is a better experience. But that's not to say that Capcom can't make Street Fighter equally as unique and good. Because Street Fighter has always been, in a way, like in all fighting games, all about zoning and like pressuring your opponent at your optimal range and pressuring them, but not getting, pressured back and hit it back. Like, I'm at a range with Ken where he's within my EX Dragon Punch range. He might want to chill right now. A high-level player such as myself knows this. He has meter with Ken. I got to be very careful. But the problem with Street Fighter is that everything Ken does is an EX fucking uppercut. His EX fireball has way too much invincibility way too early on. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Ryu. Like I have stuffed it. I have stopped Ryu's um super fireball super from coming out by hitting him, but like it acts too much like a level 3 though. And like I feel like Ryu, Ken, Akuma, Kami, characters like that, Guile, they already kind of have way too many moves that behave just as good as an anti-air special move. Like it's just as good as a flash kick. It cannot be. It cannot be. I'm throwing a hard punch at Guile, and on reaction, he does an EX Fireball, he does an EX Sonic Boom, and completely swallows up my hard punch. No, change that. Make it so that my hard punch punches Guile right in the face and stuns him, and now he's in counter hit state, and now I can do whatever I basically want within that time frame to add additional damage to my situation to get the best possible damage, for the situation. In Ken's example, if I don't have meter, that's going to be standing hard punch into hard punch uppercut. Hard punch, dragon punch. Hard punch, Shoryuken. You know what I'm saying? There's variations of this. If I'm at close standing, that no longer exists. I was gonna say proximity normal medium punch. That no longer exists. I mean, it kind of does. I feel like Ken is the only one that still kind of has a proximity normal in a way, and I think that's part of what makes him like kind of good though. Like probably even better than Ryu and Akuma in a lot of ways. Because like you kind of have to like a little bit respect the second hit of that. So it forces you to block, even though like, you get what I'm saying? It forces you in a situation where you're like, okay, now I'm in a situation where like if he stops at the medium punch, I'm in a grab setup. Can I escape the grab setup? Sure. I can do a lot of things to escape the grab setup. I can backdash. But if I'm wrong about that and he reads the backdash, because the backdash has throw invincibility in Street Fighter ever since Street Fighter 4, I don't personally agree with that. But like, it's kind of good. The way that Street Fighter currently is, it's good that we have options to deal with command grabs. Because there's a lot of command grab players that are playing right now that are like, let's say, for example, I play a real good Monop player. I don't know if it's Idon or not because I know he's like the only good Monop player. So I just assume it's always Idon. But, when I'm playing offline, I'm grabbing, I'm blocking his jab. I could crouch his jab and counter him. I could counter him, right? Or if he tries to go for that command grab, on reaction, I could backdash it. He'll whiff the command grab and I could full combo him there. Or I could neutral jump it. But the problem with the reason why you see a lot of players neutral jump the grab, I don't agree with that. When it comes to command grabs should not be the way they are in Street Fighter, with the exception of the way they are for Ibuki and Oro. Oro and Ibuki were the only players in Street Fighter history that had proper command grabs. I do not agree with Ibuki having a target combo like crouching light kick, crouching medium kick, standing hard kick. That's the big problem with Street Fighter. I don't mind that a player counter hits you and gets like an additional medium punch in and goes into a special move into a super. I don't mind that. That's just part of the meta of what makes Street Fighter amazing. That is the proper way it should be. In fact, it's getting easier than ever before, and I love that. It is going in the right direction in a lot of ways. And I do appreciate that. I know it's a lot of hard work mathematically and artistically for them to make it a reality for us to sit here and like the last thing they want to do is hear a guy like me to go, yo, you're not Capcom, you're Crapcom. They don't want to hear me saying shit like that. They don't want people raining on their parade. I get it. But like, it's probably the same shit they say about me. So what's the big difference? You know what I'm saying? But the point I'm trying to make is this, like, I want the game to be more about talent. If a player picks Monat and he legitimately hits me with a counter hit and combos into a command grab, like the way the game is now, you can't do that. Command grabs have to be independent of any attack or block string. If you try to command grab your opponent while they're in block stun, or hit stun. Actually, I think they changed that now. It used to be different. So like the game is consistently changing and evolving. The point I'm trying to make is this. When a player was in block stun or hit stun, you could not originally command grab them. And that is the right way. So like while you're in block stun, you do not have to worry about Manat or Zangief or Lily command grabbing you because they can't. Until they recover from the normal attack that they did, they cannot do anything else. They've committed as a player to doing an attack on you. That attack has to activate. It has to start up and activate. And then it has to be blocked by the opponent or hit by the opponent, get hit, and then it has to recover. The opponent either gets hit or they block it, and then it has to recover. And whether or not they're safe or not after that attack, because some normal attacks in Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat actually are unsafe on block. Like a sweep, for example, in Street Fighter is unsafe on block. I completely disagree with that, though. In fact, I would make it so that counter hit sweep does not sweep the opponent. It leaves the opponent counter hit in a standing state. In fact, I would do the funny Yosemite Sam. Oh, he's grabbing his foot, hopping on one foot. He's hopping on one foot after he gets hit in the foot like that. Now it gives you enough time to land a full combo on your opponent because you properly played a fighting game right there. They were open for a low attack. You counter hit them with a sweep, and you should be rewarded for that. The problem is Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and all these other Japanese clone fighting games of Street Fighter, they do not add additional combo possibilities off of a sweep. I do not agree with that. That's not fair. It really isn't. You know what I'm saying? Crouching light kick is completely different, especially in Street Fighter. Crouching light kick is good as fuck in Street Fighter. In fact, it's the best normal attack in the game. A lot of people go, why would I do crouching light kick, crouching light kick, crouching light kick on my opponent as a block string? Guess what? Why would you do that? Because they can't do nothing about that. If they try to drive impact you on wake up, their drive impact will be beat. So the meta of that move being as good as it is, the weakness of that move is unless you combo into a crouching jab or a standing jab. I don't know if the standing jab is possible. I always go crouching jab. I think standing jab is also comboable off of it. I don't recommend it because you're going to lose a little bit of time standing up to finish the combo. But I think it is still possible, though. That's legitimately a true block string. With the exception, like I'm talking about on block. Obviously, there's counters to it. You can counter hit them. If they do it at the wrong time. I would make it a little more active. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not the crouching light kicks and crouching jabs. I feel like they're too good. I would make like the crouching medium kicks and the standing hard punch and normal attacks like that. I would add more active frames to that. I would make it more, more potent, more powerful. I feel like you have to be sometimes a little too precise in Street Fighter. And I feel like that's one of the drawbacks of the game is that it just does not have enough active frames. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what I mean. But like when I talk about like when people talk about the meta of fighting games, this is like every fighting game is different. Like even each Street Fighter game is different. The meta of Street Fighter 6 is completely different to the meta of Third Strike. But there are some similarities, like the crouching light kick on hit, it does hit 3 times. On block, I believe it only hits twice. Like for Ken, like if I dash in with Ken or Ryu, I think like with Ryu it's 2. Or I think he could do crouching light kick, crouching jab, crouching light kick, as well as Ken does. But it doesn't lead into super because they could block it after. Whereas Ken actually does combo into super. That's why like a lot of people didn't give me the props I deserve when I was playing Third Strike Online Edition, because Ryu is way harder to win with than Ken. And I was legitimately the only good Ryu player playing on Third Strike Online Edition. Maybe besides that one white boy that for whatever reason decides to use the unblockable Denjin Ryu. Which, don't get me wrong, it is still kind of hard to parry that unblockable, but believe me that people do practice that and it's not impossible to parry that. You have to red parry it. That's the secret to getting out of that unblockable situation. If you don't red parry that situation, you will be put in a stun or near stun, because you have a stun bar in Third Strike. It was like the only there was stun in the older titles like Street Fighter 2, but and Street Fighter Alpha, I believe. I don't know if Street Fighter Alpha had it. I never really liked Street Fighter Alpha, to be honest. But Third Strike was the only Street Fighter game that actually had a combo, a stun bar that let you know exactly where your stun was. So like a lot of players could look at the stun bar and go, "Oh shit, I'm about to get stunned." So like, let me legitimately not do anything until my stun bar gets a little bit lower, so they don't land a free combo on me, because that's basically what happens when you get stunned in Street Fighter. But a lot of people don't know that, like, Ryu in Third Strike, he has the unblockable Denjin setup, and how you do that on a hard knockdown, which I believe is only on counter hit knockdown. Like, let's say, for example, you land a counter hit light punch, dragon punch with Ryu as an anti-air. I think they cannot roll out of that. Because you could do a little ground roll if it's not a true hard knockdown, and you could get out of that, and you'll only have to parry it instead of red parry it. But if it's a true hard knockdown, this setup, from what I understand, only truly legitimately works good in the corner, which is like very situational, but it does exist. And the only way out of it is by red parry. And the same thing with Oro in Street Fighter Third Strike, is like he has a similar, way harder unblockable setup. You know what I'm saying? But this is back when fighting games, it was fun to be cheap, and it was fun to be legitimately like broken. And it was okay. We accepted that like each character kind of had, something like that. You know what I'm saying? I was not using level 3 Denjin Ryu. I was using Shin Shoryuken Ryu, because his regular Dragon Punch, even his EX Dragon Punch, is real easy to parry as an anti-air in the game. So like, you legitimately almost can't even use it. So what I did was I made up for it by picking Shin Shoryuken Super, because that is way harder to parry. And it does a lot of damage, especially against Akuma. So like, if you ever have problems with an Akuma in a tournament, I promise you, if you pick Ryu, Shin Shoryuken, and you land it, the round is basically over. Because it like does a ridiculous like 75-80%. Especially if it's like a counter hit, it's ridiculous. The point I'm trying to make is that, it's hard to deal with that, like Manat online. But when you play offline, it's a whole nother story. It's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they feel the same way about me. But I think that's like the big deterrence in the game, is that no character should have an advantage like that. Like, command grab characters in Street Fighter, especially with modern controls. Like, if you're playing ranked and you're using modern control grapplers like Zangief, Lily, or Manat, you have a huge advantage. You really do. Can you still backdash away from their command grab, even in the corner, and avoid the command grab altogether? Yeah, but if you make a mistake, which is very easy to do online, you will eat a full combo, or you will eat a command grab. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, like, I just legitimately wanted them to make a better product. I'm sure, like, now, if they really pay attention to everything I've been saying, I think like some of the better characters in the game, if they just remove the target combos they have, it would make all the difference. Like Kimberly, I think Kimberly is too good to have a target combo. If they just removed all the Kimberly's target combos, I think they would be stepping in the right direction where it's like, okay, these are changes we really needed. Because it's really unfair. Like a lot of the newer characters that came out, like especially that were designed specifically for Street Fighter 6, they all have amazing target combos. Whereas like characters that were like come from the past, you know, a lot of them don't really have that. And like a lot of them don't really need that. I'll leave it at that. I hope I'm gonna do my best to like I am about to play casual. So if you want to play against me, I'm gonna play for a little bit. I am a fanatic, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know you guys are trying to there's a lot of losers out there that are just trying to vilify me. It's not going to work. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. They're trying to feed me lines. The wicked, I don't know, wherever nationality you're from, you're a loser, man. You're a loser. You're trying to feed me lines. Like, you got nothing better to do with your life. You're pathetic. You're trying to feed me spiritual lines. Look at yourself in the mirror. Like, look at yourself in the mirror, like, legitimately, as a man. And go find, like, Bin Laden. Find, like, real bad guys that deserve it. Like, I'm sorry I ate, like, a few extra cheeseburgers. My bad. You owe me more than you could ever pay back. My bad. I'm sorry that I went and got a few extra cheeseburgers. I'm sorry. But what the hell are you going to do? You're going to put me in a firing squad and shoot me dead because I had one too many fucking cheeseburgers, bro? Go suck a fat fucking baby dick, dude. Legitimately, suck a fat baby dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I hope you choke on a fat nigga dick. And I hope you burn in hell afterwards. Like, I hope you choke while sucking on a fat nigger dick. You know what I mean? I said nigga, not nig. I don't even want to say the other one. Did it sound like I said the other one? You know what I'm saying? If anyone can say that shit, it's me, all right? You know what I'm saying? If anyone could use if anyone could use the N-word, it's me. I might not look like I could use it, but I could fucking use the shit. You know what I'm saying? What do they want me to pull out? My are you black fucking authentication certificate? Like, here, this proves I can use the fucking word. Here it is. This is my use N-word at any time card. Here, it's verified. Scan it. It's still active. Like, what the fuck? Like, if you got nothing better, oh my God, I can't believe he said it. You're fucking whack. Move on with your life, dog. I don't care if anyone says spick this, spick that. I don't give a fuck. I think it's kind of funny, actually. So I'll leave it at that. Like I said, I am gonna play right now, but I'm not gonna stream because I've been talking shit about fighting games and a whole lot of other shit for like about an hour. I mean, that's a lot. Like I said, I even promised myself a few months ago that was going to be my last video. I thought it was probably the funniest video I ever did. I know if Rio saw that shit, he was probably laughing. I love Rio. I still think he's the best Mortal Kombat player of all time. I don't care what anyone else says. You know what I'm saying? I would love to play Justin Wong in Mortal Kombat. Don't get it twisted. I'm sure I already have. And I'm sure he's probably the good Lee May player. If I were to take a guess, he's probably the amazing Lee Mai player, Lee May. Because he always picks the Chinese women in all fighting games. So, like, when I see the incredible Lee May player, I'm like, that's got to be Justin Wong. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'll leave it at that. Like I said, my dream fighting game house or apartment would be, I would live with Justin Wong, Daigo Maharo, Tokido, all those guys in one apartment. I would give Idon a pass. But he's going to have to prove to me, you know what I'm saying, that he could win with characters other than command grab characters. I know he legitimately, I don't want him to listen to me and change, because legitimately he does have an edge and he does have an advantage. I still think command grab characters are the best, and that's mainly because of the threat of the command grab. The threat of the command grab puts you more vulnerable to counter hit state. I still think Lily is easily maybe the best out of all of them. I think Zangief might even be the best out of all of them, because he has the air grab as well. Don't forget that. And like, he could legitimately instant air command grab you. You know what I'm saying? It's like a weird motion, up, forward, then back to down, forward, back, punch. And if you did it correct, I think it's kick actually. If you did it correctly, he'll grab in the air. And if you did it correctly on your opponent, if you miss, he'll just look like he's hugging the air. He's hugging the invisible man. But if you do it correctly, he'll grab the opponent. Now, like, I still think Zangief, like, you know, the only problem he really has is against characters like Guile. Guile's crouching fierce is too good. Change the angle. Stop making it a vertical crouching hard punch. Make it make it so that Guile has like a down hard punch that hits as an overhead or something. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I said, that's the big problem and the big deterrent, and that's the big drawback about Street Fighter, is that they try to make every single special move just as good as like a dragon punch or a flash kick. And I disagree with that. I think there should be some special moves that are legitimately just combo enders. You know what I'm saying? I swear to God, if I would have farted right there, I felt like I was about to fart, and like I was thinking about letting it rip, but like if I legitimately would have done that, I think I would have shit my pants right there. So it's a good thing I held it in. Like I said, you know, if they just do those simple tweaks and listen to me, I think it'll be so much better. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I know you guys are saying, oh, well, if you could perfect parry every single time Ken does the dragon punch with kick, which is supposed to look like the way it was in CVS 2, which is the reason why Sean has it, because he's like Sean's teacher, you know, it should be the way it is, you know, in CVS 2. But it's not. So it doesn't even look as dope as it should. You know what I'm saying? We need Oni back. Where's Oni? We need Oni. Take away Oni's target combos and the character's fixed. He's too good with target combos. I mean, let's be honest here. He has a Raging Demon in the air. He has a Raging Demon on the ground. Another thing, Raging Demon, Akuma cannot have a Raging Demon that is not, he has to be able to combo that. That's another command grab that a lot of people do not talk about. His teleport cannot be a command grab either. There's longtime fans that are used to that just being a teleport. I don't mind if Akuma has a teleport. I kind of think he's too good to have a teleport. He's already hard as fuck to touch in the first place. I think there's characters that deserve a teleport a little bit more. Maybe like, I'm cool with Dawson having one, because without it, he would be like unusable. You know what I'm saying? I just want them to change one thing with Dawson if they can. Please, for the love of God, I really mean this. I feel bad for Mr. Crimson. I feel like he would be winning way more, and more people would be using Dhalsim if down on the controller did not activate the slide. For whatever reason, it only used to happen with down forward medium kick, down forward hard kick, and down forward light kick. He would do it like a little weird slide, right? I think that the slide that Dhalsim does, the hard kick one that does a hard knockdown, it should not do a hard knockdown. Keep them in a crush counter state like it was in Street Fighter V, where they're standing, they get counter hit, they're put in a crush counter state where you have way more time to capitalize and land a counter hit. I mean, not a counter hit, a combo afterwards. And that really solves a lot of his issues. The problem is you land a counter hit sweep with, like, let's say, for example, Kimberly, and it just does a sweep. In Kimberly's character design, it sets up the spray can projectile. And I understand that it should be the way and have a hard knockdown. But Dhalsim, he really needs that to be crush counter state standing. But when I say crush counter state, I don't want them to do the 3 spins moving backwards away from the opponent. Like, animate it so it looks like they really just got hit, but keep them there. Do not put them falling. Do not put them getting hit in the air. Nothing like that. Standing. That's it. It's perfect like that. Because what happens is you press down hard kick or down medium kick or down light kick with Dhalsim, and it automatically does the slide. I disagree with that, especially considering sometimes you try to do the teleport behind your opponent, and they start moving back when they see you activate the teleport, and you end up in front. And sometimes, instinctually, you'll hold down back to prepare for, like, blocking, and you'll press, like, light kick if your opponent has not attacked to be the first to strike or whatever, right? And because you ended up in the wrong side, you have to do that pretty fast, and you'll get a slide instead. And, a lot of times on reaction, you could not only counter hit it, but drive impact it and do a lot of other counter hits to it. So just by them making a simple change like that, like removing the slide from the down attack with light kick, medium kick, and hard kick, and like if you hold down back, it does not activate the slide. If you just press down and light kick, medium kick, hard kick, the slide happens. Change that. Take that away. Make it down, back, and down. Do not activate slide, and you can do the regular crouching light kick, crouching light kick, crouching light kick. Dhalsim really needs that. If you press down forward with slide, that should activate. That should be the only thing that activates the slide. That's the only change I hope that Capcom makes to Dhalsim. It really is. And also, I think it would be too good if they allowed him to. I would also make his fireball in the air quarter circle back instead of half circle back. In fact, I would probably make it like light punch button. That way he does not have a jab in the air. I think it's ridiculous for him to even have a jab in the air or a crouching light kick in the air. I feel like I don't know if that's Mr. Crimson that I've been running into in the mirror match with Dhalsim, or just generally like the best Dhalsim player that I've ever played. But that crouching light kick in the air is good as fuck. I feel like the angle should, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, I feel like it makes it too good. Maybe I should be using it more instead of just talking shit about it, but I'll leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? I'll end the video there. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Okay. I'm going to end it right there. I am about to play some casual if you want to try to play against my Dhalsim, though.